Hey, I'm Steve Krenz for Guitar Gathering. I wanted to welcome you to this workout on the chords that you need to know. This is from a 4-part series. We have 4 lessons and then we have 4 workouts. This is the second workout. If you missed the others, the links are going to be down below in the YouTube description. And this is going to be the workout. So you're going to need your guitar for this, and you're also going to need to download the PDF that goes along with this workout, and the link for that is down below. And it's the workout. There's the chord charts, that's a different PDF, and then the workout. This is the workout exercises that we're going to be doing now. So we're going to start, since last time we talked about the basic chords, the open chords, your C's, A minors, F, G, bar chords on the 5th string and the 6th string. Now we're going to get into more modern sounding chords. Now the lesson for this is in the YouTube description down below. This is the workout. So this is the part where we actually work it out together. So take a look at the workout exercises. Since we've already done the first 5 pages of that, we're going to start on page 6. So take a look at that. It says pop and rock chords, pop, modern sounding pop chords, and rock and roll power chords we're going to cover as well. So if you guys are ready, grab your guitars and let's just review some of these forms. Some of them may be familiar, some of them may be unfamiliar. That's okay. We're going to work them out together. The first chord that we come across is the A2. It's like an A, but we take our our pinky off. So there you go, that's the A2. So play that with me. You're playing just the bottom 5 strings. You're not playing this low E down there. Try and get all the strings to ring out. Okay, so you have an A, then you have an A2. So play me an A, play me an A2. Play me an A, play me an A2. Okay, the next chord that we come across is a C2. So we have our C here. That's our open C, but this one we're going to shape a little bit differently. With our 2nd finger on the C, 1st finger on the E, open G, 3rd finger on the D at the 2nd string, and then open E. I know we're going through this review a little fast. I wanted to get to us playing. We already covered these chords in our lesson part yesterday. So there's the C2. So it's formed slightly different from the C. So everybody play me a C first. There you go. And now play me this new C2. Okay, slightly different form. You can also put, if you want to, you can put your pinky down on that 1st string, maybe on the 3rd fret. That just adds another chord tone. Remember, 2 chords are the major triad, 1, 3, 5, with an added 2nd step, 1, 2, 3, 5. Another variation of this is if I take off my 1st finger, which takes out the 3rd, and I'm just left with these. So either one, any of those 3 are a C2. Okay? Take a look at the next one, D2. So we have D, play me a D, and then take your 2nd finger off. That's the D2. Okay, so we try and relate these to their open counterparts there. So play me a D, play me a D2, take that 2nd finger off, play me a D again, put it back on, take it off, D2, and that's the difference between those two. All right, so take a look at the next one. Next one is the E2, that's the one with the big stretch, okay? So find me an E, a regular old E. Okay? We learned that last time. Now I've got to add the 2nd step of an E scale, which would be an F sharp, and the only closest one is right here, so I've got to stretch my pinky way out. Now, but Steve, I can't do that. Lower your wrist. Lower the wrist down. Okay? You're never going to get it if your thumb's over the top and you've got this sort of hand position. Lower that wrist. Get a little bit of air space right there between your palm and the bottom of the neck. See if you can reach out there and grab that F sharp. Don't get discouraged if you can. This used to feel a very unfamiliar chord to me. It felt so unfamiliar to me. Now, I do this chord all the time. Okay, so your hand will expand for that. Will learn to flex It's not a deal about how big your hand is, it's a deal about how flexible it can become. All right, so play me a regular E. Let's start off with a regular E. Ready? Regular E. Okay, now let's play that E2. So stretch that pinky out. There you go. There you go. Back to the E. Stretch that pinky out for the E2. There you go. Okay? So we've done the A2, we've done the C2, the D2, the E2. All right, let's go to the F2. Okay? Remember that one is the third finger on the fourth string. You have an open G, first finger C, and a pinky on that high G there. So this is one of those forms that does not have the third in it. If I wanted to add the third, I could just put my second finger down on that third string and add the third, which is perfectly fine. Both of them work, but this is kind of more of an open sound. Has that open string in it. So there's an F2. Now the other one was a G2. So we have a third finger on the sixth string. His back end of the finger is touching that fifth string, so that's muted out. We have an open D, second finger on this A, open B, G. That's a G2. Now remember we talked about last time, you can switch your fingers around and play it that way. Now, like the C2 that had multiple ways to play it, G2 is the same way. Okay? So if I play it here with my second finger on the top, open D, G, third finger D, pinky G, that's a kind of a power G, which we're going to talk about in the power chords. That's another way to play. Well, that's a G5, really. If I wanted to add the 2 to it, I just add this A. All right, so let's review those. Let's review those. Play me an A2. Ready? 3, 2, 1. What's next? A C2. Play me a C2. 3, 2, 1. There you go. Come on, come on. We're getting some new chords in you. Play me a D2. It's like a D, but without that second finger. Great. E2. Try and reach out for it. There you go. F2. Just the bottom 4 strings. And then G2. All right, now what good is a 2 chord, you may be asking yourself? Well, 2 chords can be substituted for any major chord for a little bit more of a richer sound, a little bit more of a modern sound. So take a look at our first example there. Our first example there for 2 chords. It starts off with 3 chords. I have a regular A, a regular D, a regular E, then it repeats that. And then I add 2s to all of those. So I have an A2 to a D2 to an E2. And we repeat that. Okay, so let's play this exercise. We're going to start off with the A first. Nice and slow. About this tempo. 1. I don't care if you want to do whole notes. Let's just start off with whole notes. That'll be easy. 1, 2. If you want to strum, that's fine. We're going to be doing whole notes. 1, 2, A, ready, go. A, 2, now to a D, and ready, go. E, 6-string chord, ready, go. Repeat back to the A. It's a 5-string chord, so don't hit that last 6th string. Back to D, 4-string chord, and try and be accurate on the number of strings. E, now to the A2, ready, and A2, 2, see how rich that sounds, the D2, now the E2, make that big stretch. Let's repeat that, let's go back to the A2, go, 2, 3, 4, D2, 1, 2, 3, 4, E2, 2, 3, let's end on an A2. Okay, so now we're going to add a little strumming pattern with that. We're just going to go down, down, up, down, 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 up, down. So just on an A chord, you do that strumming pattern with me. Down, up, down, 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 up, down. Okay, so now let's start the exercise. Ready, A, ready, go. A, now to a D, here. Now to an E. Back to A, D, E, Now to the A2, so no pinky on this one. D2, E2, back to A2, D2, E2. All right, good. Let's see if we got if our drummer is awake. Let me get our drummer going here. Oh, I gotta scroll back to him. Give me just a second. Just a second. Here we go. So we're gonna play the same exercise. Oh yeah, there he is. 1, 2, same exercise. You can do whatever strumming pattern you want. 2, a 1, A2, ready, A starts it. D, E, A, D, E, A2, D2, E2, A2, D2, E2, and let's end on A2. All right, all right. Good job. Let's take a look at another exercise with this, give you another bit of practice with some of these other 2 chords. Okay, so now this one starts with the C, regular old C chord, regular old big old bar F, G. Nothing special about that. If I was playing a bluegrass gig, that's exactly the chords I would play. Now, but I'm not playing a bluegrass gig. Let's say I'm playing a country song and I'm playing an intro for a big country song. All right, so I'm going to change it up. I'm going to play a C2, but look if you can look closely. I didn't realize it's small on the image there. This is one of those C2 variations where I put my pinky down, and then I have my F2, and then I have my G2. And the reason I did that is because all 3 of them have this common high pitch. High tone, that high G is in all 3 of those chords. So it creates this common melody note, and that is what ties progressions together. Okay, so here we go. Let's start it. Let's start with the regular C chord. Let's do a regular strumming pattern, down, down, up, up, down, like we were doing. 1, 2, regular C, and ready, go. F, G, back to C. F, G, okay, now a C2, C2, F2, G2, back to C2, let's slow it down a little bit, F2, G2, let's repeat that again just for fun, nice and slow, back to C2, even slower. F2, G, G2, C2. Okay, we're going to play those last 3 bars one more time. Now, I want you to, here's a little secret. Your pinky never moves. He stays down for all 3 chords. The only thing else is moving is the other finger, so you keep that pinky down. So start right on that C2, and let's play that C2, F2, G2 again. 1, 2, and go. C2. Keep that pinky down. F2. G2. Back to C2. F2. G2. Let's end on a C2. So little keys like that help keep a progression sounding together. Okay? All right, so take a look at these. We've learned those are the open 2 chords, the most common open 2 chord forms. Now we're going to look at some movable 2 chord forms. So hang in there with me. Remember, if in all of this workout, if you can't keep up with me the first time, that's okay. Just try it again tomorrow and try it again the next day. It's about improvement. It's always about improvement, not where you're at today, but where you can be at next time. So, all right. Let's move on to the 2 chords that are movable. Okay, so look at the first one. That's an F2, but it's got a bar. See that little arc right there? And this has got the diamond, so that is indicating the bar, the root of that movable chord is on that first finger on the 3rd string. And I got to bar that down there. Now that's going to be tough for some of you to get a big stretch like that and a bar. Not impossible. Never say impossible. Okay. Just play that chord. That's an F2. This is the F, so if I wanted an E2, I would have to make him just an E. So there's being E, there's an F2. All right, so let's just get that chord. Just do whole notes with me on that chord. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, do it again, and 2, 3, do it again, and 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Hey, just for fun, before we even get to that, move your pinky in. 1. Very pretty chord. F major 9th is what that is. That one's for free. F major 9th. Okay, so you got an F2, and then I can slide it in for an F major 9th. So let's just go back, rock back and forth between those 2 chords for a second. 1, 2, ready, go. Put your pinky in. Back to out. Slide it in. Hey, just for fun, to keep the interest going, what if I went down one more and I'd have to put my 2nd finger down? Okay, so you see what I'm doing? I'm just going pinky, pinky, 2nd finger, and we'll go back and do that. This is just a fun little exercise. Don't worry about these chords. This is an F2, F major 9th, and F 9th, F dominant 9th if you're interested. Now let's just try and do this chord. Practice that for a while. 1, 2, ready, go. Bring that pinky in. Now to the 2nd finger. Back to the pinky. Pinky in. 2nd finger. Okay, rest your hand a little bit because that required a good bar there. Maybe you can even put your pick down and do this with me, fingertip to fingertip. Let's do this together. Fingertip to fingertip. Okay. Push them down there. Don't break your fingers. It's not about that. It's about stretching. Fingers apart as much as you can. Okay. That stretches those muscles out there. That's a good little way to do that. Okay, so that's an F2. Now another F2, if I switch my fingers around the other way, 3rd finger, 2nd finger, 1st finger, then add the G that way, that's like our F2 that we learned earlier. This is just that one variation. But since it doesn't have an open string in, now I can move it around. So if I wanted an F sharp 2, there you go. Okay, now the 3rd one there is a G2. You got to put your pinky on the 4th string, 1st finger on the 3rd string, 2nd fret, big stretch. I realize that's a big stretch. And then the 2nd finger there. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at. We'll get back to those other ones in a second. Let's take a look at. No, looks like we'll have to do them before we get to that example. Look at the 5th root, where it says B2. It's like a B minor, if you remember, like the B minor we did last time. It's like that, but we take our 2nd finger off. Okay? Remember how we do bars? You hold that 1st finger strong, straight as an arrow. Straight as an arrow. Okay? The pressure for bar chords is not in your squeezing muscles. It's not that way. It's in the strength of this 1st finger muscle, that muscle right there. Okay? And if you just are starting, it's going to sound like this. don't freak out. Don't give up, burn your guitar. Okay, the only difference between this and this, you'll notice I didn't move my hand at all, is hand strength. Difference is hand strength. You had your hands in the right place the entire time. You just need to get stronger with them. That's a B2. So if I wanted, in the next example that we're going to see, a B flat 2, I would have to do this chord but move it down a half step. That would be a B flat 2. Okay? All right, so now flip over the page. This is page 7. Let's look at that first example there. Okay, we've got an F2. Now for me, sometimes when I need to do large stretches like this, it helps for me to kind of raise my guitar up just slightly and do it like this. It's just a little bit easier, more of a classical way to play it. Okay? So the first example there at the top of page 7, I have this F2, then I've got the C2 that we learned, B flat 2, and then back to the F2, and it does that progression again. So let's just do it in half notes and whole notes first. Okay, let's see if you can play it. Start with that F2, find it. 1, 2, F2, and ready, go. F2, now comes the C2, ready, go. B flat 2, and back to F2. 2, 3, 4. C2, F2, or B flat 2, sorry. Let's repeat back. F2, 2, 3, 4. C2, B flat 2, F2, 2, 3, 4. C2, B flat 2, and then this other F2 there at the end. Okay, a cool little progression. Okay, take a look at the next one. Okay, this is the next example. Now you'll notice on this one, I didn't put the chord diagrams in there. Okay, I wanted you to kind of figure them out. So remember, we just played an F2, so you have to look at it. You can do, which one should you play? The short answer is, I don't care. This one, this one, this one, whichever one you want to do. So there's the F2. Now the G minor 7th, where would that be? Do you remember where that would be from our bar chords last time? The minor 7th form, and it would be up here at this G. Okay. B flat 2, well, we just did that one in the previous example. There's a B flat 2. Now for the C suspended, C sus, you have to go up to here to a C7 and then put that pinky out. Then you can just resolve it to that C7th if you want to, or you could go to an open C7. Well, which one's right? Whichever one you want to do, okay? Whichever one works in the musical situation. All right, so let's see if we can play through these chords. Just do whole notes with me. 1, F2 starts at 2, ready, go. G minor 7th, ready, go. Make sure each note is as clear as you can get it. Then B flat 2, yep. 2, C suspended, and next one, slide up, pinky out, 2, 3, C 7th, pinky back in, 2, ready, and. Okay, good. Now let's do a little strumming pattern with that. We can go to our down, down, up. Actually, I don't even care which one you do. Let's add our drummer back in the program here. Some of you are asking, what is the drum program that I used for this? Literally all I did was went into GarageBand, typed in vintage drum kit, and I think this one is at 90 beats per minute. And so I just let it go for, 5 minutes or something. And that's what this loop is. So if you want these loops, these are actually at our website, guitargathering.com. In the downloads section, I put all 4 of these drum loops in there, and you can download them, use them. It's all free. All right, so here we go. Let's get our drummer going. Okay, we're going to do that F2 exercise again. Actually, let's do each measure twice. That'll be easier. Okay, I don't care which F2 you want to do. This one, that one, this one, either one. 1, 2, ready. 2 bars each. 1, Do it again. G minor 7. B flat 2. C suspended, pinky out. Pinky in for the C7. Do it again. F2. G minor 7. B flat 2. C sus. Ah, my drummer stopped on me. C7, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, F2. There you go. All right, hey, let's look at our power chords here real quick. Power chords. We're running out of time. We got to get to these power chords. All right, so let's review those. We have an E5. Remember, power chords are just roots and fifths. Roots and fifths, 1, 5, that's all it is. How many E's and B's and E's and B's and E's and B's can I put in one form? Those are all power chords. Now these happen to be the little 3-string power chords, but you can have more. You know, that's a power chord too. That's a power chord. You know, so all of those are power chords. This is just a 3-string version. I'm going to get them nice and clear, so I don't play those last 3 strings. See how those have X's over them? All right, so what I want you to do is this. I want you to go, we're going to do 5 strokes really strong, all down strokes. Do it again. You got to have a little attitude with it. These are power chords. Do it again, and. Good. Now we're going to do an A power chord, an A5. Okay. Now you want to try and be as accurate as you can and not hit that 6th string. So now I'm only playing the 5th string, 4th string, 3rd string, and I'm not playing the upper 2, the 2nd or the 1st, or the 6th. So I got to make a smaller movement. 5 down strokes. 1, chicka, 2, chicka, ready, chicka, go, and. E, go back to the E5. A5. You can use 2 and 3. You can use them 1 finger bar if you want. Back to E5. Good. Take a look at that next one. This is a G5. We already talked about this with 2nd finger, open, open, D, and G. A full, not a 3-string one. This is all 6 strings, but that 5th string's muted. Same power chord rhythm. 1, chicka, 2, chicka, 3, chicka, 4. Now, if I take my D chord, but don't play that last string, I'm just left with a D, A, a D, and just do those 3 strings. That's a D5, a D power chord, open D power chord. 1, 2, ready, play it with me. All right, good. So we've got E, A, G, and D, all right? So let's see if we can add our drummer with them and get some practice with those. Let's speed up that drum loop a little bit, huh? Come on, drummer, can you speed up a little bit? 1, 2, our power chord rhythm. 1, E starts it, ready, go. Do it again. 4 times. A5 is next. A5. G5, D5, Good job. Now, those are the open power chords. There are movable power chords which form this sort of a shape. First finger, then we skip a fret and we do third finger and fourth finger. It's a 3. If you notice, it's the same thing as an E. Just up, if I move it up and then put my first finger where the open string was, it's an F. Okay, now it's movable. I don't have any open strings. Movable. So I can do this F. So if I said, hey, play me an F, play me a G, play me an A flat, play me an A, now I've got them everywhere. Okay, still have to mute this down a little bit. 1, 2, ready, and go. Do it with me. Let's go to a G power chord. I just shifted the whole thing up. What about a G sharp power chord? 2, G sharp, ready. Good job. When I do it on the 5th string with the 5th string root, it's the same shape. That's why everybody loves power chords, because it's all the same shape. Okay? That's a B power chord. If I move it up, C, there you go. All right, so we've learned a little bit about power chords. I don't want to spend too long on those, but let's take a look at the next one down there, the minor 11th chords. Okay, now remember we talked about last time, just like with the A and the A2, the 2 chord substitutions, I can put a 2 chord for any major chord. What makes, and it'll sound richer and more harmonically interesting. Is there anything I can do for minor chords? Well, yes, there is. Instead of a regular minor chord, I can substitute a minor 11th chord. Don't let the confusing name get you confused on that. It's just a different name, a minor 11th. The formula for it is a 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 9, but you don't have to play it, and then the 11th, okay? So there you go. That's a minor 11th. So let's look at this first one, an F sharp minor 11th. Steve, I will never use an F sharp. I've never seen an F sharp minor 11th in a piece of music. Well, yes, I know. But anytime you see an F sharp minor, this sounds terrible on an acoustic guitar. It's a bar chord. What I want an acoustic guitar to do is what it does best, which is get these open strings ringing and all that sort of stuff. So I like to play, substitute in an F sharp minor 11th. Muting out that 5th string, and I'm playing this F sharp minor 11th. Very rich sounding chord. Okay, if you want to think of it, it's like an A2, but with your 2nd finger lowered down here to the 6th string. Okay, so play me an F sharp minor 11th. 1, 2, just a whole note. Ready, go. 2, 3, 4. Do it again. 2, one more time. So if I had a progression that, let's say, went from an A2 to an F sharp minor 11th, or it can just be written A to an F sharp minor, which is a very common chord progression, I can add my 2s and my minor 11ths, and it ends up sounding a lot more richer and more interesting. So let's do that. Let's go from an A to an F sharp minor 11th. We'll start on an A2. 1, 2, ready, go. Do it again. A2, F sharp minor 11th. Back to A2. I'll just call out chords. A2. F sharp minor 11th. You're doing great. Hey, do you remember a D2? Let's do a D2. 1, 2, D2. Ready? D2. Just stay there, D2. What if we did an E, just a regular E? Maybe an E suspended. Remember that one? Put your pinky down. Back to A2, A2, A2. F sharp minor 11th. D2, E suspended, so we created a much more interesting progression by just doing two simple tricks. If it's a major chord, I turn it into a 2 chord. If it's a minor chord, I do a minor 11th. Okay? Now we've been doing strumming, but I could just as well do a finger style. Okay, so either way works. Okay, now there's a B minor 11th, an open B minor 11th. That there is second finger there, open D, third finger on the A, fourth finger on the D, and then open. That's another rich sounding one. If I'm doing a progression like maybe a D, you play it with me. You play it with me. We're going to start off on a D2. 1, a 2, D2, D, ready, go. Do it again. B minor 11th. Next. Back to D2. B minor 11th. Maybe a G2. Maybe an A2. Okay, I know these progressions seem maybe unfamiliar to you. I'm telling you, this stuff is the stuff that I play in studios. When I'm doing acoustic guitar work, intros for various things, these progressions, these chord forms have put food on my table, have paid my mortgage. Okay, so these are really, if you're tired of playing the same old shapes as any guitar player down the street, learn a couple of these and you'll be able to go a little bit farther, and folks will think you are the best thing that's ever hit a guitar. All right, so I put a couple of movable forms down there too. I'm not going to go through those. I want to get to the inversions. Okay, so flip over to page 8, and we're going to do some inversions. Are you ready? We're going to have some fun. Okay, so the first inversion we come across is a G/B. Remember we talked about the whatever's underneath the slash is the bass note. So you have the chord as the upper one, and you have the slash, and then if it wants a different bass note than the root, it would be the slash, and then we have the B. So it's telling you it wants a G chord with a B in the bass. And that's what this one is. Now look how convenient it is to do a C2, our C2 inversion. Back to G with a B in the bass. Back to a C2. See, the only thing I'm moving is that first and second finger. A great pair of chords that go back and forth between each other. Look at that first example there, the inversion example number 1. Okay, we're going to start off on a C2. We're going to go back to a G and a B. Just pick some strumming pattern. 1, 2, C2 starts again. G with a B in the bass. We're doing 2 bars each. C2. G with a B in the bass. Okay. If we added a few more chords to that, this would be like the second example, which is actually like the second line of this. We have a C2, a G with a B in the bass, and then it goes to a D suspended. A D suspended, remember we learned that last time? Then it goes to a D, and then this one is new, a D with an F sharp in the bass. Second finger there, we mute out that 5th string, open, 3rd and 4th, and then back to a G. Okay, so we're going to try and do this. We're going to do both those examples, which is basically like a line 1 and a line 2. So we're going to go back to the first example, play that line 1, and then we're going to go into and play the next one, which is the line 2. Okay, we'll do each of these measures twice. Okay, 1, back to C2, 1, 2, ready, go. G with the B in the bass. C2, G with a B in the bass. Okay, now we're going to go to the next line. Next line, ready, go. G with a B in the bass. D suspended. D. D with an F sharp in the bass. G. See how that F with a sharp in the bass really helps lead us into that G. That's what a lot of these inversions do. That extra third in the bass really helps move to the target chord. So that is a great little progression to get you started with. Okay. There you go. That's our workout on these inversions and power chords and 2 chords and minor 11ths and all of that sort of stuff. Don't get discouraged if you couldn't do it first time. Do it with me again, and you'll get it in a few days. That's the thing. That's how you learn. Hey, I'm Steve Krenz for Guitar Gathering. Keep up the great work in your learning, and we'll see you next time.